there rumors that is the house haunted, or there's rumors about that?
First couple of years I was here, I had all kinds of interesting experiences. Don't have those anymore, but some people have had some interesting. Now they.
Before we get into the video, I wanted to show you this picture. It's from the last month of June, and it's just showing the support that y'all have done for me. It's absolutely incredible. Please keep it up. We're so close to 100 subscribers, and I've got some awesome stuff planned for the future. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, so we're here in Savannah, Georgia. Why are you moving? We're gonna spend 24 hours here. It's one of the most haunted United States cities, and we're gonna go on a ghost tour and explore the city and hopefully see some ghosts. We got this sick church. Alright. We're gonna go inside. Yo, bro, this is so nice. What'd you say? What'd you say? Okay. This is pretty epic.
Extra.
Savannah so far?
We cool. A little bit sketchy like that.
Have you seen any ghosts yet?
Fam.
Do you want to see a ghost?
A little bit, fam.
Can I be in the vlog?
Yes, hello.
Hi, vlog.
What do you want to say? How are you liking Savannah so far?
It's pretty good. I've only been here for like an hour, so hard.
Actually, that one would be.
So creepy. I'm done.
There rumors that is the house haunted, or there's rumors about that?
First couple of years I was here, I had all kinds of interesting experiences. Don't have those anymore, but some people have had some interesting. Now they do ghost tours at night, but
We're in a graveyard right now. This is actually so. I don't know. Yeah. They're so old you can barely read. Like, why is that one in a cage? I would like to know. It's probably coming out of there or something, and like they don't want it to escape. Why are some of them so big? Like these ones? Why would you want to do that? We just made it to the hotel. Been walking all day. We're gonna go on a ghost tour in about an hour.
3 hours?
Starts at 7:30. 6.
Your clock is completely wrong.
Yeah, well, my clock isn't. Alright, so it's 7:01. I'm about to head downstairs, go to the ghost tour. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be exciting, and yeah, we're gonna get on the elevator.
In the basement over the years, and I won't lie, it's a little bit eerie. Their description is what looks like a man on the ground, face down. Never looks like he has any arms or legs. Just kind of squirming towards you. Guys, I don't like that description. And I captured on their side of the window what they describe as a fog or a mist, but when they approach it, they'll notice the temperature drop almost to a shivering point. Sometimes folks outside have looked up and seen it looks like a man from waist up right behind that lamp looking out the window as well. A lot of folks that have stayed inside have claimed they've seen a little girl skipping around the hallways in an old-timey dress. They believe it has something to do with the girl that lost her life in the yellow fever. And guys, I'm not going to lie to you. Any hauntings dealing with children, for me, are automatically the creepiest hauntings there are. And I don't know, they spend the night, they fall asleep, he wakes up in the middle of the night to the sounds of children's laughter inside the bedroom. Now you know the noise if it's in your room or not. He gets up, looks at his wife, she's asleep, so he lets her be. Walks around the room, doesn't see a thing, so he sits down at the edge of the bed and does nothing but listens for about 15 minutes. And when he's comfortable enough, gets up, goes walking over to the light, turns it off, lies down, pulls the sheets and covers up, and what happens next he cannot describe. It sounded like heel to toe, but more like if there were no shoes on at all. The padding getting closer to the bed. And that was nothing compared to what was about to happen. Because he said after he heard the padding, He said he felt what felt like the sheets and blanket tighten up over his feet and ankles. Guys, you know if you're lying in bed, someone sits down at the edge of the bed right there next to you, cocoons the lower part of your body? That's how he described it. It felt like something was sitting there with him. He even felt the indentation in the bed. He described it as terror, refused to lift up his head to see what was there, sat that way for so long he fell asleep. I don't understand that part of the story. But woke up the next morning, starts questioning himself. Would this really happen? Was it a dream? He woke up at his wife and he asked her if she noticed anything strange. She said, you don't remember. I tried to wake you up twice. She also heard the sounds of the children's laughter the night before.
It's super haunted, and no meme, I had videos of this whole section and they all disappeared. Like, I'm actually scared because I don't know what happened to them. I'm not even joking. I had videos and I did not touch any of them. I did not press delete. I know I would have pressed delete if I did, which I didn't. I actually do not know what happened. And we were in this square, and this is when my mom took a picture of some weird thing on her camera. So I'm going to put that up on the screen right now. Alright, you see this white thing on the bottom of the screen? Someone tell me what that is. Put that down in the comments. I would like to know. Okay, let me tell you what. It's something not normal. It's not a glare, because a glare is the difficulty of seeing in the presence of a bright light, such as a direct or reflected sunlight, or a car headlamp, or at night. It's caused by a significant ratio of luminance between the task, which is what you're taking a picture of, and the glare source. Well, there was nothing to cause a glare, so it's not a glare, and it's not a flashlight or a headlamp thing, because A, if it was a flashlight, you wouldn't have that light because it's still bright enough outside, and B, no one had a flashlight there. So someone please tell me what that is, because I think it's a ghost. I'm not lying. I don't know. I'm actually scared. Yeah.
Can I show you a picture one more time? Guys, I took this picture last weekend in Bonaventure Cemetery. That's just a couple miles down the road from where you are. You see this coming out of the ground? That little turquoise looking pipe type thing? You know what that is? Bell. That is a bell. That's not just a bell, actually. That's a bell and a breathing tube. Guys, they didn't know. They would have to bury you as quick as they could with any disease back in the day because you were contagious. And families could afford to tie a string to your finger or to your toe, at least to a bell on the surface. Most of them were just a crude little bell system. They're gone. But that one was more expensive. That guy could breathe if he needed to. And guys, it's a sad thing to see that. If someone hears the bell ringing, they got to dig you out as soon as they can. But it's a sad thing to see that. It's one thing to hear, but when you get out there and see it, it's sad because you know that family had hope. You know they buried him for that reason. But it's equally as eerie because you put yourself in the shoes of the caretaker that's sitting there walking the grounds, the guy working the graveyard shift, hearing that bell ringing out there. That's a creepy thing to hear. Or if you go out there today, can you imagine hearing that bell? So look, same thing with these crypts. See the brick crib right here behind me? They're all throughout the cemetery like that. They become what you know as mausoleums today. At least if you wake up, you can breathe. But you're looking at the roof of the crypt. They all go down several feet. Every one of them have a creepy little staircase that leads down to it. When they're done with the burials, they seal the door, they cover the staircase, so all you see is the roof of the crypt. So, there are 500 headstones in these gates. According to the graphs, they've found 10,000 bodies. Oh. From the back walls all the way up to the original gates, roughly 10,000 bodies. But here's where I tell you that these are not the original gates of the cemetery. The original gates of the cemetery is the double yellow line on the road right behind you. Which means all of us are currently standing in Colonial Cemetery. Now guys, it's illegal to enter a cemetery in Savannah after the sun goes down. And it's actually illegal for any tour to enter the cemetery unless they have direct permission to be a cemetery tour. So you'll see these gates are locked, but since we're currently standing in Colonial Cemetery, well, you can look at the sidewalks here and see there's nothing, it's waving. Because they aren't very and that's why you see it like this. It's been proven they are underneath you. So I wanted to make sure you were standing in the cemetery when I told you our last story of the night. The cemetery had a nickname. It was known as Renee's Playground. Anytime you use the word playground at the cemetery, you know it's going to be creepy. Now, Renee was born a giant of a child in the late 1700s. He grew close to 7 feet tall. Now, you didn't see that. During that time period, it was considered a deformity. He would have been removed from social everything, no schooling, no playing with the neighborhood kids. Where he found his joy is playing in the one place where no one's going to bother him. That's within these gates. And they always knew when he was here because they'd find the crypts broken into. Sometimes they found an animal or two hanging from a tree branch. The kid's got nothing to play with. Those are his toys. It's like Lenny from Mice and Men type stuff. But he also didn't know his strength, so that's the fate of the animal. So here's where the legend starts. someone's walking past the cemetery to look in, they found an animal hanging from a tree branch, but then beneath the animal on the ground, they found a dead body. Now guys, listen, back in those early days, you find a dead body on the surface of the cemetery, obviously it's a murder, but it didn't take much to put 2 and 2 together, because the man that you feared walks those gates. The man that doesn't know his own strength, it's got to be Rene. Crowds of people is what got justice for anyone else. Whether he was guilty or not doesn't matter. They all gathered, they were going to kill him. They start charging towards his home. He lived closer to the river. Parents kept him in the carriage house out back. They gathered, the parents come outside and start pleading to the crowd, please leave my child alone. For once in his life, leave him alone. He's been with us all night long, he's been asleep. Somehow they were able to calm down the crowd. As long as the parents agreed, let us put one person to stand guard outside the carriage house tonight. They agreed to it. Everybody leaves, one person stays behind. Only one person guarding Rene. While he's standing there, the church bells start ringing throughout this town. Now, if you hear a church bell in Savannah after 8:30 at night, there's an emergency, just so you know. 8:30 is the last time you hear them. Because these churches used to let you know a lot more than what time it was. It was an alert system. There's a wedding, there's a death, there's a hanging, there's a hurricane, there's a fire. It let you know everything. The reason they're ringing is 1820, the Great Savannah Fire just broke out. Everybody leaves to fight the fire, including the man guarding Rene. Leaves Rene by himself. They're gone for hours, watching the fire burn their houses down to the ground. Then someone else is walking past the cemetery. They found another dead body in the cemetery. Now you take the fact that they've already found one body, the fact they left Rene by himself, the frustration that grew with dealing with that fire and their houses burning to the ground, also they need instant justice. And with a crowd that size now, they're gonna kill Rene. They got to. There's no stopping it. It doesn't matter what the parents say, so they all start charging towards his house again. They get to the carriage house, they rip the door off. When they enter the carriage house, it was empty. So to them, that was confirmation that he did it. They started searching every alleyway in this town. When they got closer to the cemetery, they found him hiding and ducked behind one of the old houses. So without trial, they put the rope around him, dragged him into the cemetery, threw the rope over a sturdy tree branch, and they pulled Rene up into the air, and they held him there until he wasn't moving anymore. They killed Rene inside Rene's playground. They killed him in the one place he found joy in life. Anyone want to take a guess of what they found inside the cemetery 1 week later?
A murder.
They found another dead body. Now you know the town is thinking we messed up, there's a killer out there, but you also know the way Savannah works. And what the majority of the town is thinking, it's Rene. It's the way we killed him, the way we feared him, the way we treated him. It's Rene, he's coming back to get his vengeance, to get his justice. So don't go walking near the cemetery or the back alleyways near the cemetery, because if you do, this 7-foot-tall monster, Rene, he's gonna come and get you. And this is the legend they have told the children growing up in this area from 1820 all the way to today, which is really messed up when you think about it. And I know they still tell the kids that today, because I did a school group out here not long ago, and they said, oh, we all learned that in first grade. What? Look, let's figure this thing out. Guys, if you go home tonight and do a simple search, Savannah Rene haunting or something like that, you'll see the same thing I do. New York Times did a big story on them, CNN did a big story on them. You'll also see a lot of frustrated people saying things like, have you ever gone to tour of Savannah and they tell you about Rene? Leave the tour and ask for your money back. They're right about that. If you go on a tour that presents him as truth, they're right about that, because Rene's not necessarily a true character. He's more fictitious than anything. But you can still pull out little pieces of the story that are true. And that's what makes the story so confusing to so many people. But that's just the way legends work. So you always hear people in this town saying things like, oh, Rene, he's not true. We're pretty sure. Rene's not true.
Finished the ghost tour. How did you like it?
See where
Red, dude.
Alright, so we made it for the first night. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Just went down and ate breakfast, did all that stuff, showered, all that. So my hair's wet. We did. Alright, so we made it to the river. And there it is, Talmadge Bridge, baby. There we go, Talmadge Bridge, let's go. Named after me. Let's go. Alright, so this is Tal, and in the 24 hours, we were there like 27 hours, but more or less 24 hours. It was good. We did not see any paranormal activity as far as we know, but there's definitely some there. It is the most haunted city in the United States for a reason, because it's suffered from yellow fever, fires, hurricanes, Revolutionary War, Civil War, and all those people died, and they built a bunch of structures and buildings on top of that, and that's why it's so haunted. So yeah, now we're gonna go finish the rest of the regular video. Heading to South Carolina now. We got a 45-minute drive.